Okay. So, well, it is 4 o'clock, so we can get started. Matt, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Sure. My name is Matthew Cable. I am faculty here at California State University, Bakersfield in Advanced Educational Studies in the Special Education Department. That is a mouthful. Typically we use acronyms, which is way easier, but that's the world of special education, isn't it? So I am the Special Education Advisor for Cal State Bakersfield. I'm the coordinator for the Esther B, which is the Bakersfield City School District Residency Program, currently in cohort 1, and we're having a blast with it. And I teach many classes, many classes. Go ahead, Kate.
I'm Kate Herman, and I am the residency coordinator for the Greenfield Residency for Educational Specialists. And I also am faculty in the Advanced Educational Studies and Special Education, and I also teach classes in the Great Residency, and I am the university supervisor for the first cohort as well. So I know that's a lot of things, but basically Matt and I are just like always around. Okay, so we can go to the next slide and I will get us started. The purpose of this session is just kind of like tell people what a residency is and also about our specific 2 residencies at CSUB. A teacher residency, they're not super new, but they haven't been around forever. They kind of follow the same model as a medical residency. So doctors have to, practice in the hospitals and with patients before they get started actually practicing on their own without supervision. And so the teacher residency is the same kind of model. So basically you get to learn about all the theory and all the pedagogy and all of that in your classes. And then you get to go into a mentor teacher's classroom for a whole school year and practice the things you're learning, but you're not the teacher of record. So you have someone there to work with you and learn in that format. We have 2 residencies at CSUB. One is with Greenfield and one is with Bakersfield City, as I'm sure you guessed because of how we introduced ourselves. These are the residencies we have for special education specifically. In the residency, you get support and coaching from a university supervisor. That's the person that comes in and does your observations, gives you some feedback on your teaching, on your instruction, on your planning, those sorts of things. But you also get support and coaching from a mentor teacher and a curriculum specialist as well. And you get to complete your coursework for your teaching in 1 year, as opposed to 3 semesters or more, depending on how you do it. So like I said, you get structured support from CSUB, but also the school district supports you as well. So you get to attend professional development opportunities. You get to attend, trainings with your mentors. All sorts of supports are there, which is really great. You're paired with a mentor teacher. Depending on the residency, you're with one mentor for the year, or you're with a mentor for half of the year and a new mentor for the other half of the year. And you're in a cohort. So all of the same people will be in all of the same classes with you so that you can, have each other to lean on, ask for support, ask about due dates, ask about assignments, whatever you need. Cohort is the way to go. Like I said, you complete your coursework in a year. Both residencies have a $23,000 stipend that's over 10 months. And you also have the opportunity to substitute in both of the residencies as well, so you can earn some extra money. And then you can earn your educational specialist credential in either mild, moderate support needs or extensive support needs. And then at the end of the residency, both residencies, you get a priority job interview status after you complete the residency and the coursework for your credential. So this is kind of just an overview about the different types of programs that people usually take. And there's a lot of information here. So we'll make sure that you guys have access to these slides. But basically the residency is the things I just talked about. You get paid a stipend. You're in a school placement for an entire school year. So you get to see the beginning of the school year to the end. So setting up the classroom, breaking down the classroom, communicating with parents, those sorts of things. But you're in the classroom for 3 or 4 days per week. And then you have one full day of classes at your school site and typically one evening class that's at CSUB. Depending on the year, the schedule might be a little different, but the plan is to get you as many classes as possible at your school, at your district. And then you get priority job interview status. Whereas traditional, a lot of times, you're taking 5 days a week of classes, depending on your schedule and what you choose, but you don't get a stipend. You may get to attend some trainings that happen during school hours, but you're not an employee and you don't get any kind of priority interview. And an intern is when you are the teacher of record and you're taking classes, and there's a time limit on how long you're allowed to do that. So usually it's 2 years for your intern credential. And then after that, you have to get credentialed. So you have to complete all of your coursework and pass everything by the end of that 2 years. But you're working full time and going to school like close to full time as well during that time. This is just, there are so many financial support opportunities for teachers, especially in the state of California. These are just some of them that are available that I know about, but there are so many out there that you can apply for. So obviously you'll get your stipend. Oh, there's one we didn't catch. That's supposed to say Greenfield or Bakersfield City. For your financial support, you will get that stipend. You also can apply for a Teach Grant. There's residency or scholarships that are available from the CSU that vary per year. This year it was $5,000. There's the Golden State Teacher Grant Program. There's the Cal Grant Teaching Credential Support. And then of course, if you do get student loans, there's federal loan cancellation and forgiveness if you go into the profession of teaching. There's also financial aid. And there are just, like I said, so many opportunities out there that, like, if you know now that you want to be a resident next year, you can just start applying to a ton of different things because you'll get funding.
Yeah. So just to summarize, residency save you time and save you money, and time equals money. So it even saves you more money. And it's only 10 months instead of a whole 3 semesters, which that's the minimum, by the way, for most students. So the prerequisites for the residency program, for actually all the programs for Cal State coming into special education, is you have to have a bachelor's degree. You have to have some experience in special education to have one of the courses waived. We call that course EDSP 4800. This course is a early orientation course of special education. However, if you work as an instructional aide, paraeducator, you work in a special education class, you already have some experience there, you can fill the waiver out and possibly have that course waived, which means you only need 2 courses. That's it, just 2 courses. And those 2 courses will fulfill your foundational courses to come into the special education program as a residency student. In addition, you need to have a high enough GPA, and you have to fulfill the 2 other fund requirements, which Kate actually is in charge of at Cal State, which is your basic skills requirement and also your subject matter competency. Often we call that the CBEST and CSET, but there are courses that will waive both of those requirements. In addition, if you're going to come in to the residency program, there's an application process you must follow. Everything for the application is located on Cal State Bakersfield, the special education site. And Kate, if you don't mind, I'll throw it up if you need to, but she can drop that link into the chat box, and that way you guys can go ahead and go right to that spot. And this is what you need. Okay, 3 recommendations: autobiography, TB clearance, mandating reporter training. Okay. In addition, there are some fees that you should be aware of: $30 for credentialing service fee and the Cal Apply application fee. In addition, for both GRADE and BCSD, we're going to tell you right now that you need to become a substitute teacher or qualified to be a substitute teacher, because 1 day a week for both GRADE and BCSD, you will be a substitute. For both those residencies, you get to work every Friday and you get paid. And right now, I'm not sure what the going rate is. I think it's above $200 a day. So you get that extra money on top of all the extra money you're getting for the residency. In essence, the residency is paying for your credential. So you're getting this credential for really kind of free. You can use the money how you want, but you can look at it that way. So that additional money every single week is very helpful, I imagine. And so just think of that as an added bonus for the residency program.
So to add on to that, like if you are someone that is currently finishing your prerequisite courses, like you applied in the fall, you planned on starting in the spring semester in your credential. We also want to make sure that you know that if you decide that residency is the way you want to go, then you can wait to start the residency in the fall, and you would still be finished at the same time. And so one thing we could recommend is that you could just start subbing now so you can get some experience in the classroom. Districts need substitutes right now, so you can sub in the district and hopefully the district that you want to work in. And then you still need your sub permit in order to become a resident, so there you go, you're checking off that box, but you'd still finish at the same time. So we just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that that is an option. If you are someone that's like, I really wanted to start in the spring, well, you can do that, but you could also wait if you want to start in August and do a whole school year as a resident. And you would still finish at the same time. So you get all the perks of being a resident as well.
So we'll get to the questions. I see there's a question in chat, and we'll get to the very end of this.
Oh, so next step. So if you are someone that's really interested next year, so we don't start residencies in January, they both start in August. So if you're interested, but you still need to take prerequisite courses, whether it's 1 or 3, you need to apply to Cal Apply by November 1st. In order to enroll in the prerequisite courses in the spring semester. So you could take those 3 classes in the spring and be eligible in August. Then once you know that you want to apply, you could apply to whichever residency. You have to apply first to the special education program and then to the residency program. And if you have specific questions, please reach out to me or Matt. I'll put our email addresses here as well, because we can walk you through that process. Right now, it's just information. So I'm going to write Greenfield residency. And then, then the process is we interview in the spring for the fall start. So you would hopefully know by the end of the spring if you will be starting in August, which usually is like the first week in August.
And there's our contact information. And then Kate's going to drop that into the chat as well. I do see a question in the chat. Does it matter which district you sub for? For the spring semester, so if you decide you don't want to start in a program in the spring and you want to wait and join the residency in the fall, it does not matter what district you sub for during that period of time. However, when you come into the residency program, you will need to get that sub permit for KCSOS, okay, Kern County's school superintendent. So you will have to switch over, but for the spring semester, no, you could sub anywhere you like. I believe most of the stuff that's located around here, it's all going to be through Kern County anyways, unless you're far out, which far out's a really good word anyways. I mean, because you can be really far out. And you get to see Kate and myself all the time. How awesome is that? Future educational specialists. All right. Any more questions, you can drop it in the chat, or you can just unmute at this point and ask them. And we answered everything.
We're very thorough.
We are far out.
If any questions do come up though, please do email us. I mean, we really want to answer the questions. Also, we're in the first residency cohort now. So we both of the residencies are running this semester. And so the questions that you have are things maybe we haven't thought of yet. So we'd love to hear, whatever you guys are thinking about, and any questions, even if it's not right now. Okay, so one of the questions that just came in is, do you have to have a bachelor's degree before applying? The answer is yes, but if you're graduating like in May, you'd still be eligible in August. You just we'd have to know that you're graduating then, but it's not like you can do credential and your residency at the same time. That would be way too much work for anyone. And you do need a bachelor's degree, but it doesn't matter what area. So if you have a bachelor's degree in math or something, but you want to go into special education, great. If you have a degree in psychology or I don't know, what are other degrees? All the degrees, they all.
What's your bachelor's in, Kate?
My bachelor's degree is in child and my human development and family studies.
Oh, so yours is somewhat related. Mine's in business law.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which the law part has actually helped a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
Mr. Cable loves the law.
I'm gonna also add, because you talked about this, for the basic skills, the CBEST, the CSET, basic skills, subject matter competency, to become an educational specialist, a special education teacher, you can meet subject matter competency requirements for any subject area. There's not a specific one for special education. So if you have a degree in business, for example, but you want to meet subject matter competency, you would meet that waiver as long as it aligns to one of the single subject or multiple subject areas. And like Mr. Cable said, there are lots of classes that can meet the basic skills requirement as well, as long as they meet like a minimum grade requirement. So, and obviously a content area requirement. So if you have questions or you want, some advice on that, I am the person at CSUB that evaluates all of those things as well. So you can reach out to me.
But the CSET, we don't get evaluated until after our bachelor's.
That's right. It has to be, you have to have graduated at that point. But if it's like, okay, you have a degree in English and we know you're going to graduate in May, like you can't meet the CSET waiver yet, but programs know that if you're graduating, there's like a little note that I can put on there that says degree aligned, but not conferred. And so programs know that it will be as soon as your transcript states that you've graduated.
Told you, she's the expert. Any more questions? I don't see anything.
Awesome. Well, we hope to see you all applying or getting more information. Also, if you know friends or family or anyone else that may be interested, it's fine that they weren't here tonight, and you can still pass the information on, pass out our contact information. Yeah. Okay, I'll stop recording in case anyone has a question they want to ask.
I have a question, actually.
Go ahead.
Where do we get the waiver for the EDSP 4800?
It's on the forms page. So
Okay.
if you go on the link that Kate dropped into the chat,
Yes.
you'll see on the left-hand side, it'll say forms. You just click on that forms page and you'll see EDSP 4800 waiver.
Okay, and then does it tell us where to turn them in?
Everything's going to go to Julia Bavier.
Okay.
And
I'll
she's
put
going to
that
be once you guys come into the program, she's going to be someone you have a lot of communication with. She handles all of your paperwork.
Okay, perfect.
And I get to do your program plan, so I'm the first person you meet with.
Okay.
We get to sit down together virtually or in person and talk about the program, what it's going to look like, all that good stuff.
Okay.
Julia is the admissions advisor. So if you have questions about like the admission requirements or like what you've turned in and what she's received, she's the person that you would talk to. And I did just put her email address there in the chat as well.
Thank you, Kate. All right, so we're going to hang out. We are all done, but if you have a question that you want to ask, you're